So we all know that Aliens is a great science fiction action film, but if you watch it on VHS, it's more of a horror film as well. So this is the tape we'll be watching, the 1989 CBS Fox All-Time Greats release, which is the theatrical cut. So here are some examples, let's have a look. Just in case it's not blatantly obvious, the VHS is on the top and the Blu-ray picture is on the bottom. So we'll start with the first proper shot of the film where you see the spaceship from the previous film. And the first thing you'll notice is the definition and brightness on the Blu-ray version. So as we get a tour of the ship in stasis, you get a good idea of how dark the VHS really is, with only minimal lighting that shows up very little of the ship. Could there be something hiding there? Who knows, but it's blatantly obvious not in the Blu-ray. And doesn't that little bit of VHS static give you all the warm and fuzzies inside? And it's so dark you can barely see its Ripley in the cyber chamber. So let's get to the bit with the bass on LV426. So this is the bit where the VHS really shines, or actually it's the opposite. Because look at this situation, which corridor do you think is more scarier? As a viewer knowing what the alien's about, you'd be checking those corners certainly. As much as I appreciate the amazing sets, I do like them when they're hidden in dark. As on VHS is how I first watched this, and that gave me some unease. Take this shot for instance, how bright it is on the Blu-ray. It's like night and day. Whilst it's great to see everything there, it does take away the dark corners. So now up to the suspenseful attack. So this is the scene that shows there's a lot more colour in the VHS version. And with aliens coming out of the darkness, you can barely see, but you know there's something there. So this is a good example of how much colour has been taken out of the film and the brightness pushed up for the Blu-ray. It just might be one of those situations where keeping the monster hidden for the majority of the film works out for the best. And plus keeping the Marines in the darkness as well also gives that a heightened sense of suspense. Let's look at that alien attack and some rear projection shots. I said it before in a previous video where the Blu-ray being very bright sort of spoils the look of the practical effect. Plus again, the darker blood always looks better. So we'll go back to some more of the amazing model work. And to the scene that looks like it's rear projection. It might be just me, but the darkness on the VHS does look like it keeps the perspective more than the Blu-ray's brightness does. But it's still nice to see real things blowing up. And how about those red colours? Makes it look like they're on Mars. Let's look at the sneak attack from the aliens. So this is a scene I particularly like on VHS, as Hicks's torch highlights the individual aliens as he swings it back and forward rather than seeing the lot of them coming at him. But apart from the difference in definition, it does actually play out pretty much the same in look. Of course the VHS is slightly darker. So let's have a look at what happens to Newt when she's on her own. So this is one particular scene I do enjoy, with the back and forward between Hicks and Ripley. Maybe it's the darker VHS, but it shows off that anything could pop out from anywhere. And being shrouded in darkness actually makes it more claustrophobic. Like she really is on her own. And then up. So let's see what the Queen looks like on VHS. So straight away you can see the big differences on their faces. Can't even see Newt. And again, shrouding the practical effects in shadows, even though the Blu-ray does do it justice. The practical effects being so good that it works as a scare 40 years later on either version. And now some more flying model effects. So the brightness again is an issue for the model work, showing does make it look like it stands out against the background. So this scene starts off alright, but as it gets closer to the screen you can see more of the outline on the spaceship on the Blu-ray. So now a couple of scenes of the final showdown with the Queen. Luckily the Queen puppet is so well made that even the brightness doesn't show the wires and the cables and anything that you can see. But is there something more sinister when it's shrouded in darkness? And now the epic reveal. The VHS seems to have the haunted house feel kept in darkness that the original was going for. But this reveal is so epic. Both versions do seem to show off the loader, especially in the lights. And you can see her face at least in this. What do you say?
Get away from her, you bitch!
I will say it's nice to see the loader in full glory in the HD brightness. So let's end this video with the last bit of action. I'll give it that Aliens is more of an action film, but there's no reason you can't have some horror aspects of keeping in the dark. When Lance Henriksen's in his hole, the VHS version hides it a bit better. But this action set piece looks great, especially in Blu-ray. So what about this scene where the Queen goes out the airlock? And again, I think I prefer the dark, just the VHS at its space. So there we go. What do you think, Blu-ray or VHS? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Here ends the lesson.
Sleep tight. Affirmative.